Hello and welcome to an all new episode of Horror Flix and Chill. I am your host, Kinte, all the way live from Los Angeles, California. And I'm joined by my two lovely co-hosts. We have the one and only Jen. How you doing, Jen?
I'm doing great. Really excited to be here. Super excited.
And we have the magnificent Tory.
Hi. It's awesome to meet Michael, and I can't wait to talk to him.
Yes. And wait, you're gonna hear a quick echo. Hold on.
It's
All right, got rid of that. Sorry about that. All right, so we are fortunate today. On our first episode, we reviewed the film Halloween Kills, and we are blessed to have as our guest one of the actors that starred in the film, the one and only Michael Smallwood. How you doing, Michael?
I'm doing pretty great. Thanks for having me.
Yes, and we're gonna chop it up.
To be here.
We're gonna chop it up about the film, but before we do that, we want to kind of get to know you a little bit. So, can you tell us a little bit about yourself? Where are you from originally?
I'm originally from Baltimore, Maryland. I grew up there, and then my dad's entire side of the family's there. A lot of my mom's extended family is all there. Baltimore's home. And then I spent my high school years in a town called Union, South Carolina, and then moved to Charleston for college. And I've kind of lived here in Charleston ever since. I'm an actor and writer and podcaster, and who got the awesome opportunity to be in Halloween 2018 and Halloween Kills. So,
that's
All right.
so exciting.
Yeah.
All right. Now, anyone who knows me knows that Baltimore is my second favorite city,
Oh yeah.
and there's a reason. There's several reasons for it. One is one of my favorite things is crab cakes, and they have the best. It's not even close. There's no place
Not
that
even.
has. It's
Yeah.
honestly, there's other places that have decent crab cakes, but when you've had a Baltimore crab cake, you've had a crab cake. So, shout out.
I mean, my favorite food, period, is just like Chesapeake blue crab, man. Like, you just put, a bushel of crabs on a table, and I'm like a horse when it bolts. Like, I go blind and deaf, and I'm just there until there aren't any more crabs, or until someone's like, we have to leave this house, like we have to go, because I just sort of like I block out. I'm just going at them, man. Yeah, so yeah, any seafood, that's all my favorite stuff. Because yeah, you grew up in Baltimore, that's pretty much all you eat growing up.
hmm Oh yeah, definitely. If you guys haven't been to Baltimore, you definitely are. Now, were you one of those people as a young man that kind of knew what you wanted to do as far as with your career, or was it something you found out later in life?
No, I kind of always wanted to do this. I wanted to be an actor ever since I was a kid. Ever since I got to play Santa Claus in second grade, so that was kind of like my first, like, okay, I guess I'm doing this now for the rest of my life. And then I saw Jurassic Park in theaters opening night in '93. So I was like 7, I guess, when that movie came out, and I was like, okay, this is the coolest thing that anyone's ever done. I want to know everything about like how they did this. But yeah, I've always wanted to be an actor, pretty much ever since I was a kid. And I guess, to be fair, for a long time I also wanted to be a professional wrestler, but I was like, which is also another form of performing. So it was either that or be a professional. It was either be a professional wrestler or be an actor, and I got one of them.
Hey man, hey, either way. Well, and look, at least you can be a wrestler if you act, right? You can play a
Yeah.
wrestler in a movie or something like that.
And
You can actually do everything.
I have played a professional wrestler in a play before. So
Oh, get out of here!
Yeah.
You get to get real physical in the play.
yeah, so there's this play by Christopher Diaz called The Elaborate Entrance of Chad Deity, and I've gotten to do the play twice, actually, in 2 different theater companies, and yeah, I got to play a professional wrestler. So we had a ring built in the theater, and we brought in like some professional wrestlers to train us, and for one of the productions I actually got to like wrestle a match every night before we started the show, as part of like the pre-show stuff. It was all really cool. That's what this poster's from.
Oh,
Wow.
shit. Okay.
Yeah, this poster right here is from the elaborate entrance of Chad Deity, and that's what this mask is from.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
I was about to remark on your Funko doll collection. I thought
Yeah,
that
yeah,
was
yeah.
really cool.
Yeah, there's a bunch of cool Funko Pops. In fact, right up here, these are the New Day. They're professional wrestlers. And then, of course, like Black Panther, Cyclops,
Of course,
Dr.
Cyclops.
Facilier. There's a bunch of cool ones over there.
Yeah, that's awesome.
There you go. Yeah.
Also, when you're done with your acting career, you can always have a second career in wrestling. So
I
we'll look
can.
forward to that.
I can't. I'm also kind of hoping, fingers crossed, that like I get a little bit more notoriety, and then like WWE will just ask me to come do something at WrestleMania or SummerSlam. So if Triple H is listening, I am available to come in for as long as you need to. I will work dates. I'll work house shows, H. Like, let's go. Like, what are we doing?
That's funny. Triple H. We're gonna send that. We're gonna cut that clip and send it to Triple H.
I'll lose. I will lose. I have no problem being the celebrity who comes in and loses. I have no issue with that. Let's go.
I love it. Did you do a lot of plays as a young man when you first got started?
Yeah, I mean, I still do plays today. But yeah, I mean, my earliest, I mean, obviously like playing Santa Claus in second grade and doing like, various like holiday pageants and programs. But my first like plays were in like middle school doing Romeo and Juliet and Midsummer Night's Dream. And then, yeah, I mean, I acted in plays all through high school, all through college. And I'm actually here. I live in Charleston, South Carolina, as I said, and I'm a core member for a theater company here in town called Pure Theater. And I do 2 to 3, like 1 or 2 shows a season with them. I'm actually going to be in a production of Ben Butler in January.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Love it. Now, the one thing that about doing stuff on stage is you get the immediate reaction. And, is that something that really drives your performance, to get that the feel from the audience?
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing in the world quite like it, right? You walk out there and just sort of feel the energy coming off the audience, and you kind of know, right? All right, this is the night we're gonna have. Like, you and I are gonna do this together in a way, and like that's it's without comparison. I mean, nothing else that I do. Podcasting, making movies, right, or working on TV, like all of that is a the you get the feedback after you've already done the work, after you've put in the performance, and then but being up on that stage and knowing right then if a joke's gonna land, knowing right then if the audience is connecting to what you're bringing to them, that give and take, that sort of that push and pull and getting that immediate feedback. I mean, ooh, I miss it. It's been too long. It's been too long.
Yeah. Oh, and last year was tough too because of COVID. So it wasn't, you didn't have that outlet. So
yeah, I mean, there was some of it. I did my share of virtual performances, but they're just not the same. I mean, obviously you're not in the room. And that's even colder because no one's in the room. I'm not even in the room with the other performers. So I'm really looking forward to getting back up on stage soon. It'll have been 2 years since I've gotten to like get up on stage and act. So I'm really excited about it.
So I got a quick question for you. So this is different from the question that I posed before the show.
Right. Okay. Spoilers.
So,
there was a question posed to me before the show.
We'll get to that. But this one specifically is the segue with the plays. So any play that's out there, any written play right now that's out there, what do you choose as your production? What do you choose as the one you want to do?
Okay. All right. Great question. Really good question. Oh man, what is my answer? I'm really jealous. There's a play called Take Me Out. That's about baseball and and homosexuality, right? People like being gay in professional baseball. And there's a revival of it coming to Broadway. It was supposed to open in like 2020 and it got pushed back and all this other stuff. So And that's a play that I kind of wish I had got. I would have loved to have been in consideration to do that play again, because I just love that play and I think it's great. I don't. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good question. I don't know. Like any play, I haven't gotten to play Macbeth yet. I'd love to play Macbeth.
Ooh, that's a good answer.
I've been in the play before. I got to play Banquo, but I'd like the top job. I'd like to play Macbeth. I haven't gotten to play him. I'd like to play. I'd like to do Julius Caesar. I still haven't done Julius Caesar.
Ooh,
so I'd like
boy,
to do
that's a
well.
tall order.
Yeah,
that's a hefty role.
That's one I haven't gotten a chance to do. Oh, and I'm not old enough yet, so this one I have a few more years. But man, I am gonna be really good in fences.
Yeah, that's
like, like I'm not old enough. I'm too old to play the kid, and I'm not old enough yet to play. Oh my goodness, why I keep blanking on his name. But Denzel Washington's character, the asshole. He's an asshole. He's one of theater's greatest bastard roles, and I'm gonna be so good. But I'm not old enough yet.
No.
I've easily got 10 or 15 more years before I should even be considered to play. Like seriously, I'm like, I've got to
work your way up.
I've got 10 or 15 more years before anybody should actually consider me playing him. Like I'm not close.
I have a question for you. Okay, so it's kind of switching gears, but like, were you a reader in high school? Like, did you read a lot of books at all?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, who were your favorite authors?
Ooh, great question. So, I mean, look, as a kid, my favorite author was R.L. Stein, right? Like, who doesn't read all the Goosebumps books when they were a kid?
I'm so there with you.
I read a lot of comic books as a kid. I really, so my favorite book series is Stephen King's The Dark Tower. And I read a lot of King as a kid. I read a lot of I read the Dark Tower series in high school, early college. I read them. Yeah, I mean, I guess Stephen King was my favorite author growing up. And then, which man, that's a talk about a project that one day I want to like work on. Like, we need a good Dark Tower project.
Yes.
The movie,
I agree.
the movie happened, and some of it was not terrible. I'm trying to be as nice as I can at this movie. Some of it was not. Some of the decisions that were made in the right spirit of things, and I appreciated some of the attempts. It's too big. Like, it's just too much, and there's no way to do it in one movie. It needs to be a television series, and it needs to be tackled. There are certain things that you have to put. You can't. I mean, like, if you do one movie,
it's a Dune.
All right, I got something for you.
It's more than a Dune, honestly. Like, you can do Dune in like a movie or two. Like, you can cover it, but like, I mean, the best character in the Dark Tower isn't introduced until the second book. Like, there was no hope for them in the first movie. Like, Eddie Dean isn't introduced until book 2. What are we doing? Like come on.
I have an idea.
You don't get Susanna until the end of the second book. What's up?
You could do Shawshank, the play, and you could play Andy Dufresne. We'll just race swap.
I would gladly play Andy Dufresne in Shawshank. Absolutely. I'm old enough to play Andy. I'm the right age to play Andy Dufresne right now. Yeah. Right, let's go. I'd do that.
That'd be a good play. I'm shocked they haven't done that yet.
I am surprised that no one has translated it to the stage too. It does feel like it would be a really good play. I'm genuinely surprised no one's made it a musical yet. That's actually what they would have done by now, and I'm surprised and elated that no one has done that yet.
I'd go see it. For real.
Yeah, I mean, we all would go see it. I'm surprised they haven't done it.
It's just waiting for the right writer.
I don't know.
That's all.
Yeah, I don't know who you give Shawshank to translate it to the stage.
Lin-Manuel Miranda. No.
Well, I was gonna say, if you're gonna make a musical out of it, maybe you give it to Duncan Sheik, who did Spring Awakening. That would be the person I would maybe trust.
Oh yeah. Right. Oh yeah, Okay, yes, I'm on board with that.
Yeah. I'd go see Duncan Sheik's Shawshank Redemption. I'd go see that.
Well, there you go. There's $1 million idea right there.
It's for
Yeah,
free.
no, some
Someone take
producers
it.
like, oh my god, I love these guys. That's right.
Please, someone take it. Go for it.
I ain't even mad if you take it. I ain't even mad. Just give me some tickets. That's all I ask for. Now, I gotta ask you this question.
Okay.
You were in a film, and I haven't seen this. Uh, um, called Scooby Doo and the Manson Family Murders. I really want to know what is that?
So it's a play. It's a play written by a very funny guy I know through the podcast community called Kevin Lanigan. He's great, and he wrote this play called Scooby Doo and the Manson Family Murders, and it's about Mystery Inc. coming upon a mystery, and it being the Manson family, and things get weird. And last year during the pandemic, Kevin was like, "Hey, I'm going to do this. I'm going to put it up on YouTube. Will you play Fred?" And I was like, "Yeah, I guess I will. I guess it's finally happened. I'm going to play Fred from Scooby Doo." Sentences that you don't expect to get to say, but then somebody gives you the opportunity and you're like, yeah, I guess I'm playing Fred from Scooby-Doo. So I did it. It's very funny. It's very weird. And it's on YouTube. It's on YouTube right now. Yeah. So you should absolutely, after this,
I'm actually about to look at that.
Scooby-Doo and the Manson Family.
I am bookmarking
it. There's a great Reddit thread about just that, about the play, about they break it down.
So if we could really start
sorry about that. Sorry, go ahead.
It's a really good Reddit thread. I definitely encourage everybody to go and look it up and read it. It's really good.
Oh, it's yeah. We had a blast doing that.
I'm gonna put the link in the show notes for everybody.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, that's dope. Yeah. All right. Yeah, I like it. I like that. I want to definitely hear that. Now, you know what's interesting is when you see scripts, you know, a lot of times they don't give you a name, you know, a character a name. You'll be victim number 3 or black guy with mullet, you know, just some random stuff. In the film Halloween 2018, they gave you a pretty good description, even though they didn't give you a name in that one. Can you tell the audience what's your description in that movie?
My character's description for 2018 is hunky doctor, which I appreciated because it is quite generous. Because I did not finish med school.
It's a little inaccurate.
When I saw that, which is even funnier because when I got offered the part in the movie, they said that in it. I was like, well, I don't know what this means. And then I read the script and was like, oh, okay, cool. Like, all right. And then I got to set and got the costume, and I was like, hunky doctor is still it's a stretch. Like, I'm not even showing that much skin. Like, what are we doing here? I love it. It's so cool.
Oh, I would have had my license plate with that on there. Okay.
Like, I have so many people who were like, I went to see Halloween, and I was like looking. I kept being like in every doctor scene. Every time they went to the hospital, I'd be like, is Michael going to show up in this scene? Like, where is he? Like, no, it's a Halloween costume. I'm like, I'm not actually a doctor in the movie.
Hilarious. So before we get into Halloween Kills, just talk about how did you get involved in the Halloween 2018?
I auditioned. So, Rough House Productions is based here in Charleston, and that's where they shot Halloween 2018. And so I went in for an audition, like a lot of people did. And they were kind of general. They were kind of general auditions. They were just filling out the town of Haddonfield with these, different characters. And so I went and read a scene that was like, Michael has killed somebody and put up their body, and here's us reacting to it. And then like a couple weeks later, I got an email being like, "Hey, they'd like you to come in and play this part. Do you want to be in the movie?" And I was like, "Yeah, yeah, I think I do
Hell
want to
yeah.
be in the Halloween reboot sequel." And yeah, and then went filmed for a night. Really, it was like a one night shoot for that scene, and was like, cool. All right, that was it. That was really neat. I have this cool notch to say that I got to be a part of that movie and be in a neat little scene. And after like beginning of the summer 2019, I got a phone call that was like, "Hey, they'd like to bring your character back," and I was like, "Are they sure?" Like, really? Like, all right, hey, great, yeah, absolutely. And then ended up getting to work on Halloween Kills.
All right. So let's
Kinda-
go into Halloween Kills.
Mhm.
First of all, you the first one. Did you work with the actors that played Michael Myers in the first one?
Yes, James, James Cordy. He is really cool. I actually got to meet him because the scene that we shot in Halloween 2018 is that long one take where Michael's stalking through the neighborhood.
Great
shot. Yeah, Carmela and I and James were like, that was the holding room. It was the three of us hanging out and getting to talk to him about being the Shape, like being Michael Myers. And he's great. He's a really cool dude, and we got to get to know him a little bit, and then got to spend more time with him working on Halloween Kills, which was really cool. But yeah, we got to meet him on 2018 doing that take.
I'm curious, does he stay in character or once they say cut, he's like himself?
Once they say cut, he's just just chilling, just hanging out, talking about.
I remember LL Cool J was in one of the Halloween movies, and he said that,
H2O.
right, and he said the guy that played him in that one, that he stayed in character the whole time. So he said it was kind of creepy.
Yeah, James doesn't do that.
Okay, that's good.
James is very laid back, very chill guy. So,
but let's be serious. If Jason did. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
There's a small time delay between. I'm in Hawaii, so there's a tiny delay.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say
2 hours behind us.
Yeah, but fortunately for the podcast, it's only a couple seconds, so good thing. I was just gonna say, it's a good thing that if Jason didn't, if he did stay in character, yeah, I'm sorry. You know what? I do that every single time, every podcast. I'm so sorry, Michael.
You're gonna get a visit.
I didn't mean to. Yeah, that's what I was afraid of. I'm really glad that Michael doesn't actually stay in character, because do you know how little cast there would be left?
Yeah, I mean,
slightly.
I said cut. God dang
it. But what's cool about James in that role is that it's him under that mask most of the time. There are like a couple of shots that are stunt people, but for the most part, like a lot of it's him. So and he once he puts that mask on and like starts moving around, the effect is, even on set, like the effect is like, oh wow, that's Michael Myers. That's really strange to be this close to Michael Myers.
Yeah. It's funny too, watching the Halloween Kills, right? And when I saw you and the sister that plays your wife in the film, I'm sorry, what's the actress's name?
Carmela McNeil.
Great job too, by the way.
Yeah, Carmela's great.
And as a brother, when I saw you, I was like, yes. And then I was like, oh man, he about to get it.
I mean, look,
it's so true though.
Look, you get the call that you're going to be in a Halloween movie, and the options are you're only going to be in it for a little bit, and then you're going to disappear from the movie, or you're going to be in a fair amount of it, but you are going to die before the end of the movie because you're not Jamie Lee Curtis. Like, at the end of the day, At the end of the day, these movies are about two people, and if you're not playing one of those two people, like you're not guaranteed to make it out of any of these movies. So when I got Halloween 2018, I was like, okay, cool, this is happening. Like this is just a cool footnote that'll be like, I was in these movies. And then when they were like, hey, we want to bring you back, my wife was like, yes, they have to kill you. I was like, what are you talking about? She's like, you're not Laurie Strode. Like, what are you doing? You are not related to her at all. You are going to be in maybe 3 scenes and they're going to kill you. And that's cool. And I was like, okay. It's kind of what we were hoping for. And then they were like, hey, you're going to be in more than 3 scenes, but we are going to kill you. And I was like, okay. In fact, that was like basically how they confirmed that I was like in the sequel. Was they called and asked like, if we bring him back, like we would like to bring him back, is he willing to do it? And I was like, absolutely, I'm willing to do it. And then they didn't tell me anything for like 2 months. And then in August they called and were like, hey, you have to fly to LA because we need you to do some like visual effects makeup. And I was like, oh, okay, I know what that means. Like, I still hadn't read the script yet, so I didn't know what was happening. I just knew I had to fly to LA. And I got the script like right before I got on the plane. It was like, oh, I'm in the movie as well. Like I have like a character that has stuff happen. And oh, is that what they're about to do to me? And then like I got to the VFX team and they were like, here's what we're going to do to you. And I was like, I know, I read the script this morning.
But I hate to do this, but bruh, when you're in a bar and you see a news report about escape serial killers on the lam, and then you're going to your car, you don't leave your woman by herself in the parking lot to go get stethoscope. I was like, bruh, that's your woman.
I loved that line because everyone always teases me about the stethoscope line in the first one.
Right.
Like everyone's like, his stethoscope? Why would you care about the stethoscope for the party? And I'm like, it's part of the costume. And then the fact that they gave you that callback of like, oh, I forgot my stethoscope again. It's like, yay.
Oh no.
I just keep getting to do this.
Funny.
I love it.
It was funny, but I'm sitting there like, oh my God, you just saw a news report about there's a serial killer on the loose.
Yeah, but he's in our neighborhood. He's not like at the bar.
I know, but
if you know where he is, you know where he isn't.
Now, my favorite part is where she says, Michael Myers is in the car. Go check it out. And you was like, hell no. That would have been me. That'd have been me.
That's one of those things too that like we shot that movie in 2019. So I've been waiting 2 years to hear if that would get a laugh.
Oh, I died.
Like you do theater and you get up on stage and you say something and the audience does or doesn't laugh and you know the answer pretty quickly. And we shot that scene and the whole time I was like, I think this is pretty funny. Like hopefully people think that this is funny. And then it's been 2 years of waiting to hear if people think that's funny. Like it's the longest I've ever had to wait for a laugh from a joke.
Oh, it was funny. It was definitely funny because I sure as hell wouldn't have went.
The first time I got to see the movie was at the premiere and sitting there like having that moment come up and being like, oh my God. And then everyone laughed and I was like, yes, it's funny. And I almost cried. It's funny.
That's so cute.
They love me. They really love me.
It worked. The decisions I made 2 years ago are paying off.
So do you like horror movies? Is that a genre that you watch a lot of movies in? Like I love horror movies. So for you to be on that would be a dream come true for me. Like I would just die. I would just die. I wouldn't even go to the movie. I would just die before the movie was filmed. But like I know that like some people do, I don't know. So okay, you can answer.
I will say I've become a much bigger fan of horror over like the past 10 years or so. I wasn't a huge fan in the early 2000s. Because I don't really go in for like possession movies or ghost stories or like torture movies. Like all that stuff kind of drove me away from the genre for a long time. But the last few years, like I'm a big fan of psychological horror movies. But I mean, my favorite, like before like when I was in school, my favorite horror movie, Scream. Like once
Oh,
Scream
yeah.
came out in the 90s, I was like, okay, this is the coolest movie that's ever been made. Like, what are we doing? Like, come on. I saw like Scream. Like, I love all of them. Scream 1 through 4, they're all brilliant. Can't wait for the new one. And I have liked horror movies, and I've really liked them now. I've really gotten into them over the past few years. And some of my favorite, like I said, some of my favorite movies are horror movies.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
I love asking people that, because, that's whenever I watch a movie, that's the movie I prefer to watch. So that's awesome. Yay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the let's go back to the filming process. Was it
Sure.
how long did it take to film all your stuff?
I was on set for 5 weeks. A week of rehearsals and then 4 weeks of filming. Yeah. We had to like rehearse everything that happened in the car, and then we spent a week filming just the stuff in the car. A week at the bar, and then various days like at the hospital and pickups and stuff like that. So and it was cool. Like, it was cool. It was the longest I've ever been on a movie set. Like, that was the longest stretch I've ever needed to be on a film project. So it was wild being there that long and being there from the beginning. I'd never been on a film project from the beginning before. You normally, if you come in and you're playing like a smaller role, you kind of come in for like your days and then you leave. But like, with this being there at the start, I got to kind of feel like I was part of the machine a little bit in a way that I'm not normally. But yeah, just getting to spend a lot of time like hanging out with the cast and getting to know everybody and getting to know the crew, which is always so much fun. Yeah, it was a great shooting experience. A month of night shoots, like all night shoots.
Wow.
Which is exhausting. Let me tell you. It's a
And you had to get physical too in the car. So
yeah. Night shoots are long anyway, and they're really hard when you're like, once you get them consistent. Like I said, it was like a month of them. So once I got on that schedule, it was fine. It was still exhausting, but it was better than like, I've had to do like just a week of them, or even like I have to do 2 days of night shoots right here, and it's like it really does drain you because your whole day night schedule is thrown off. But after like a month of it, you're just, all right, cool. This is just how I live now. I live at night, and I'm awake for 4 hours of daylight, and I better get everything I'm gonna do done in these 2 hours right here. Yeah, you kind of get used to it. And fortunately, it was the only thing I was doing. Right, it was all I was doing was working on the movie. So we were up in Wilmington, North Carolina.
I love that place.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool town. I had never been there before. So I basically, I'm on set all night from like 6 p.m. until like 8 a.m. And then I'm going to eating breakfast and going to sleep and waking up at 12 and being like, okay, I got to go back to sleep because I need more sleep. So then like going to the gym and eating lunch and then going back to bed for a few hours and waking up at like 5 and being like, all right, cool, let's go. Let's do this. Let's start the day.
So what you're saying is that the next big project that somebody can book you for is a vampire project.
Absolutely. Like, what are we doing? Like,
some Anne Rice remake.
You're already primed.
I am ready to join the relatively short list of black vampires at cinema. I'm ready.
Hilarious.
I'm so down for that.
You're gonna be
very short list.
Blade's cousin.
Right. Yeah. I'm ready to join that short list. Actually, I write as well, and one of the screenplays I just wrote this year, I finished it earlier this year, is a black vampire screenplay. So
there you go.
Yeah.
It's calling to you.
I know. I need to.
Also you've entered the Hall of Fame of actors who've been killed by Michael Myers. So it's a long list. So
it's a pretty long list. Although I thought about this, it's a very short list of people who've actually been killed by his butcher knife. Like, he kills a lot of people in movies, but like, how many of them does he actually kill with the trademark knife? Right, not that
Right.
many. It
Hmm.
was an honor. It was an
Oh.
honor.
You got it gruesome too.
It's pretty
Like,
bad, right?
yeah, and then you had the little twitch too. Yeah, like was that in the script or was that something that you just the little
So that's
twitch after you know?
I mean, it just well, the script just sort of says like Michael stabs him in the eye, and then he
Oh,
dies,
okay.
right? Like that's all it says. So basically, so that's a practical effect. The
Uh-huh.
that's makeup.
Right, right.
The me twitching and bleeding out it's a prosthetic that goes over my eye, and it covered like my eyebrow, my eye, like all that's fake. Like it's all they put a little mask over this much of my face and covered this part of my hair. And there's a tube coming up over my ear under the hair. And so basically on action, Michael just lets go of the knife handle and I twitch and they just pump blood all over my face and clothes until I just fall
It
back.
was very effective. I got to
It was
say,
really cool.
very
It's
effective.
really fun. You can't see out of it though. And it's like the blade like sticks out this far. So you're like walking around trying not to touch anything because you'll
Oh my
bump into
gosh.
stuff and you can't mess up the makeup. So I like have this thing protruding out of my face. I can't lift my left hand because if I lift my left hand towards my face, I could hit it, mess up the makeup. And I can't see out of this eye. So I basically was just walking around with my right arm out, having
God.
like people walk me around set and sit me down and like help me out.
Oh wow, that's funny. That's right. Well, yeah, he mowed down a lot of people in that film, so it had the right title for sure. And you had to sit on it for 2 years. That's kind of crazy though, because I guess they filmed it right after the last one, right? Like,
So the last one came out. So 2018, October of 2018 is when the first one came out, and then we shot Halloween Kills September, October of 2019.
oh
It's
wow,
like a year later. Yeah, and it was hard to like sit and just sort of tell people like, yeah, I'm in Halloween Kills, and that mean nothing to anybody because they hadn't seen the movie yet. Like just sitting like a whole bunch of photos that I took on set that I can't show anybody for 2 years. Like after I saw the movie, I was like, oh my god, look, y'all, I can show you all these pictures I took. Like
uh,
I can actually talk about some of the stuff I did.
Oh no.
that's pretty good, man. You did a great job, man, for
Thank you.
sure. And I see that you're going to be working with them again in the Righteous Gemstones. Has that aired yet?
It hasn't aired yet, but we did. They wrapped filming, so they're putting the episodes together. I shot that back. I shot 2 episodes of the Righteous Gemstones.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a fun season. I'm trying to talk about it without talking about it.
Right.
I play an associate of one of the new main characters of the season.
Are you the hunky associate?
Cool.
No, I'm not. I'm not hungry, but you know what? I realized working on the show, I don't look half bad in like Texas dress up clothes. So like
Okay.
they gave me like a hat, like a Texas hat, and like boots and like like the tucked in shirts and all that. Like I they dressed me up as like a Texas money guy, and I was like, oh, I don't look half bad in these clothes. I'm not gonna buy these clothes for myself because this is not my look, but I don't look terrible in this look.
All right.
Nice.
One thing I've noticed about those guys is it seems like once they work with people, they tend to like to work with people again. So that I like that they used you in both films and the Gemstones. So and they always have some really interesting cooking. So
It's
I
a really
think
cool team there, man.
I think David is about to start working on The Exorcist. So you never know. You can spin your head around, I'm sure, and spit out pea soup.
Yeah, it's on my special skills in my resume. No, if he gets to do the Exorcist, like I would love to be a part of that. That's all. That would be super cool as well.
You should have done is when they were at a cafeteria, where you're eating, you should have just spit out.
I don't think when we were filming, we knew that he was doing the Exorcist. I think he's got.
Oh, okay. Since then, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, darn it.
The one I had heard, I know at one point he was in talks to do Hellraiser, like as a TV show, right?
I think he's involved in that as well. Yeah.
And that's the one that I'm very interested. I would love to be a part of because Hellraiser is the horror thing that scared me the most as a child. I
Mhm.
don't think I've ever actually watched the entire movie, but I remember like seeing bits and pieces of Pinhead, and it scared me so much that I have to this day never revisited any Hellraiser stuff. Like I've just never gone back to it because as a kid I was like nope to all of that and then just never picked it back up. So at some point I should probably watch the Hellraiser movies.
You know, a lot of the, especially the Hellraisers, but I guess this kind of dovetails into Halloween too. It's so amazing when the horror movies themselves take on a universe within. And Halloween does it too. There's a whole mythology around it, but you're right. Hellraiser has a huge universe attached to it. There's so many opportunities to play characters in there.
Yeah, it's a franchise that seems like it would be really really cool to be a part of as well.
Yes.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
um, Jen, you had a question that you posed before the show. So, do you want to go ahead and do it?
Okay, so this is my question, and I'll tell you why I ask this question, because we oftentimes talk about movies on a very broad kind of a level, and sometimes we forget that behind the scenes there are some really amazing creative talent that kind of goes together. And I guess we kind of talked about that when we were talking about how actors get attached to projects and then other projects associated with them. So my
Mhm.
question to you is, if you could work with any director alive, we already had that discussion,
Of
Mhm.
course. Yes.
who would it be and why?
And specifically horror, right?
It doesn't have to be horror. You could pick something else. You could
Well, I
pick
thought
something else if
okay.
you
I'm
like.
gonna I'm gonna say horror because when you asked me the question before, it was specifically a horror director.
Okay.
Because the other one, like if it's broader than horror, that I could be here all night. Um, but here's what I'll say: as far as like people working in horror right now, who I'm like, I really want to work with that person. Um, and this is really interesting. I, I think top of my list might be Julia DeCorno. She directed Raw
Good
and
choice.
Titane, which just came out this year. And I just saw Titane. I've been thinking about I every time someone asks me about horror movies, I mention Raw because I saw it when it came out a few years ago, and it has not left my mind since I saw it. And I just rewatched it the other night, and I was like, this movie is brilliant. It's still brilliant, uh and I still there's a part in the movie where I like literally scream at my TV because I keep screaming, why do you think it's okay to show me that? It's not okay
Hmm.
to have shown me that. Um it's just not okay to put. I was like genuinely the movie creeps me out. Like it really gets me. I like it's got every time I watch it, and then I watch Titane, and the whole time I was like, this is wild and weird and creepy and gross. And I think I'm in love with it. I just the stuff she's doing with body horror and like psychological horror, like that's the sweet spot to actually creep me out while watching a movie. And I saw Titane, and I don't know that we have enough time for me to describe the movie I saw. I was on social media freaking out about it the other night because I was like, the main character of this movie is pregnant with a car, and it has not been mentioned. Like the movie's not about the movie is not about the fact that she's pregnant with a car. That is just one of the things in the movie is that a car gets her pregnant. But that's not what the movie's about because there's way too much other stuff going on. And I
Oh
was
my
just
god.
like, but it all works somehow. And it's the most horrifying thing I've ever seen. And I need whatever is happening when she makes movies. I think I want to be a part of that because it's weird and I gotta know what's up.
Oh
She
man, that's
did. I know that she did some episodes of Servant too, which is also similarly super crazy and just absolutely deserving of her skill. So I'm completely with you on that one.
I'm on board for whatever she wants to do because it it messes me up. And like, as far as somebody who can consistently elicit me literally sitting on my couch, like like hiding behind a blanket and like legitimately watching a lot of the movie through my fingers. I'm like, no other director does that to me. Like nothing else does that to me. Like there are directors that I really want to work with. I mean, there's a long list of people that I like, you know, I want to work with Jordan Peele. I want to work with Nia DaCosta. I want to work with Barry Jenkins and Denis and Dee Rees, and just, I mean, the list goes on and on, but like Ryan Coogler, Steve McQueen, like I could be her, like Fincher, I could be here all night, but like, maybe I don't want to work with Julia. Maybe I just need to sit in a room with her and just be like, hey, what's going on? Like, why are you doing this to me? Like,
Hilarious.
Will you please tell me what happened to you to explain these two movies? Because they are intense.
Yeah.
Like,
Hilarious.
uh,
It's funny. Oh man. Man, I want to once again thank you so much for coming on the program.
of course.
You know, and we're so glad that we had a chance to chop it up with you, and looking forward to what you have in the future. So what should we be on the lookout for?
Obviously, Righteous Gemstones season 2, sometime in 2022. I'm also, so I'm gonna be. I've done a couple of voiceover projects this year that will be dropping next year. One of them is an audio podcast called Maxine Miles that I'm very excited about. It's like an audio drama about a like Veronica Mars-esque teen in the 90s who's trying to solve a mystery, and I'm really excited for people to hear that. So definitely keep an eye out for that and Righteous Gemstones, and yeah, some other like I'll have other stuff coming out next year as well.
Oh,
All right.
nice. We'll have to have you back on the show then.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely.
sure. And how can we get you on social media and whatnot?
Yeah, you can follow me on Instagram at Michael Smallwood Forever. And if you want to follow me on Twitter, you can follow me at Mike Loves Gushers, LUVS. It's my favorite candy.
Mike loves
I love Gushers too.
I love them. I love them, and I let someone else pick my Twitter handle. So there we go. I'm actually pretty stoked about this. I'm like, at this point now, I'm like, oh, I love my Twitter handle because it's so weird. But yeah, like I do actually. I really like Gushers, and I have to like not eat them because I'm no longer in college and can just eat boxes of them with no repercussions. So.
I just discovered that there's gummy bears with like little liquid in them, and so they're like gummy bear Gushers, and they were delicious. So
yeah, I'm a big fan of fruit snacks of all kinds. So, but yeah, like Gushers. Gushers are my jam. They're my jam.
Tory, how can we get you in social media and whatnot?
You can follow me on Instagram at Rush Tory, and that's ToryRush. You can talk to me on Facebook, and that's Tory Rush. I'm the first one that pops up. And I don't have a Twitter or a TikTok I'm sorry. I'm not. I'm not
who are you apologizing to? You don't have to apologize to us.
Shame on you, Tory.
You mean you're not on TikTok posting reviews of frozen pizzas like I was doing earlier this year?
Oh my god, I need to do that.
See? Oh, now she's on it now. Watch. Watch. She's gonna be so all over that.
Break my TikTok cherry.
Yeah.
So Jen, how can we get you social media and all that good stuff?
You can find me on Twitter at following Bliss1. And you can check out my website at moviesandmeals.com. I guess that's about it. Yeah, you can follow me both places. If you do have a TikTok, hey, share it with me, and I promise I will follow you. I will watch all your TikToks, every one of them.
I'm working on some YouTube channels too, so there's some things in the works. Yeah.
Nice.
All right, and you can get me at Kinte F on Twitter, Kinte Ferguson on Instagram, and of course the website. The new URL is theindyradio.com, and that is indyradio.com. The next review we're going to do is, I know we're a little bit late on this one, but we're going to review the movie Old by M. Night Shyamalan. So
I still have not seen that yet.
Oh yeah, it's a pretty good film. Tori, you haven't seen it yet, right? So
Mm-mm.
yeah, we gotta. Me and Jen have seen it, and so we're waiting on Tori, and we have another co-host, Josh. They're on the late freight. So, but yeah, that's gonna be our next review. But with all that said, you guys have a great rest of your week. God bless.
Bye.